Hello again, people. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of New Mexico. Got another new property out in the Tierra Verde subdivision we're going to talk about today. Tierra Verde, of course, is a very popular subdivision out in Cibola County. We've sold a number of lots out here in the past. And, of course, it is popular because, as we have discussed in previous videos, no regs, no rules, no HOAs, no dues. What does that mean? It means there are no county zoning ordinances you have to abide by. There are no covenants, no restrictions, and no HOA with their hand out every month asking for more money for seemingly nothing. You have a piece of property here that will, if your goal is to just go RV on a piece of land for indiscriminate periods of time, you can do that here. You can camp out here. You can build a tiny home. You can build a hunting cabin, so on and so forth. It is one of these places where you are beholden to no one. Ergo, that's why everybody likes it. So, with that said, let's get into specifics. This is reference number CBNM-0001A, like Apple, located as noted in Cibola County in the as noted Tierra Verde subdivision. This is a scooch more than 5 acres, and this 5 acres is priced, as you saw up here, at $5,900. For the record, $5,900 for 5 acres of land in this region is a really good price. One of our competitors was actually selling the property 2 over from this one for $7,900. So it gives you a sense of exactly how competitive that is. With that said, let's bring this up on a map. As with all of our listings, come down here, click any one of these GPS coordinates, and voila, on Google Maps, the property shall appear. So first, let's zoom back, talk about where this is on planet Earth. We'll go to map view so we can actually see things. And yeah, all right, so Albuquerque over here in the north central part of the state is about 90 minutes west of the subject property. If we right-click and measure distance, you can see, yes, roughly about 90 miles, 90 minutes. It's a straight shot along the I-40 for most of that, so of course that's about a 75, 80 mile an hour speed limit that you're going to be, or speed that you're going to be doing out there to get out to the property. So not too bad of a drive. Some pretty scenery on the way out as well. It should be noted that this property is in Cibola County, which of course backs up here on the western end to Arizona. Cibola County, of course, is one of these regions where there's more wildlife than there are people out here in the county. And this specific property sits in a region where you have a lot of great stuff really right in your backyard that you can explore, that you can do out here. Cibola County, in my saying that there's more wildlife than people out here, it's my way of saying that there's a lot of great sort of outdoor activities you could take advantage of. So if you're one of those people who enjoys the outdoors, then, this is a good region for you. Specifically right in the backyard of this property, you've got the Chain of Craters Wilderness Study Area, you've got the Malpais National Monument, the Conservation Area, etc. The Bandera Ice Caves and Volcano are out here as well. So a lot of great places just to go camping, hiking, trails, things like that, places you can explore. If that is not your bag, however, if you're more of a fisherman, you've got the Rama Reservoir over here in nearby Rama, where of course you can go fishing and boating. And even bigger, even more prestigious, if you will, is the Blue Water Lake State Park up here just north of the subject property. Just take the 57 or the 50 or the 612 or whatever exactly this road is out to Blue Water Lake State Park. That's a big lake out there, and of course a lot of great activities for you out there, boating, fishing, amongst others, etc. It should be noted, of course, that the big draw with this property out here is this giant green thing that you see on the map. This, of course, is the Cibola National Forest, roughly about 300,000 acres of forest area where you could go hunting, where you could go, camping, hiking, exploring, etc. Mostly hunting, though. That's the big draw. A lot of elk, mule deer, wild turkey out here in this region that you can go out and hunt for, etc. Now, I buried the headline a little bit. The Tierra Verde subdivision, it should be noted, is about 4,500 acres. Sits just south of the 53 here, and it occupies pretty much all of this space that I am circling right here. This is Tierra Verde. And this specific property is located right here. Let's go back to satellite image and zoom in on this specific property. So if we go to map view again, you're not going to see a plat overlay of the region. They don't have that for this sub on Google Maps. But if you come back to the listing page and scroll down here, you can see number one, our sort of Google Earth overlay of the exact size, shape, location of this property, as well as we've got the plat maps, guys. Everybody likes looking at plat maps for some reason. But yeah, this is the property out here, Unit 4, Lot 52. Sits just a little bit west of Camino de Agua Vida, which of course is one of the main roads that goes through the subdivision, or at least through this part of the subdivision. This is Camino de Agua Vida right here. For anybody who's interested in proximity to power, you should know that there's no power at the lot line of the property itself, but this one actually sits pretty close to power up here. roughly about 1,200 feet north of the subject property. You can see there's a power line right here, and if we kind of track this a little bit, you can see there's one right here and one right here, and so basically there's power lines going through, crisscrossing this part of the subdivision just about 1,200 feet north of the property. Where do I get that 1,200 feet north from? Well, let's right-click and measure distance, and you can see, yeah, roughly 1,200 feet. So yeah. By the way, this is not a subdivision in which power is ubiquitous. You're not going to find it everywhere out here. Sometimes you'll see owners. I don't know if this is abandoned or not, but obviously somebody was living out here at one point and they had power hooked up to their property. You'll find some others in this region like this. You can see there's power lines out there, power pole anyway. A couple other home sites out here like this. This one actually looks pretty nice, that have power going to them. But for the most part, I don't want to give you guys the impression that there's power everywhere. There's really not. This is one of these where you're going to have to contact the local utility and talk to them about getting power extended out to the property. Of course, solar is an affordable alternative for something like this. If they tell you that, you know, they're going to have to put X poles between here and here, and that's going to cost you, you know, X thousand, might want to consider solar. With all that said, I do want to point out to you guys, this looks from the satellite image like it's a property sort of devoid of any sort of vegetation. That, in fact, is not the case. It's just sort of misleading when you look at Google satellite view like this. If you come down here to the photo gallery, as with all of our properties, we have photos taken from the land itself, so you can see exactly what this looks like, and you can see that it is not as barren a landscape as satellite image makes it look like. Number one. Number two, you can also see that the roads out here, you know, this is, we do some detailed driving directions for pieces of land that are within the Tierra Verde subdivision. So I don't want to give you guys the impression that all the roads out here are navigable by any type of vehicle, but certainly the ones closest to this property are. Point being, you're going to need a bigger truck and an all-wheel drive, you know, off-road type vehicle to handle this. By the way, I'm pausing on this image because I want to point out the sort of redneck survey marker that exists right here. Beer cans stuck in the ground. For the record, when we sell these properties, we don't get them surveyed. We don't get them surveyed because for our purposes, making one of these listings, we have software that tells us everything we need to know. Additionally, I have read that the property, all the properties out there in Tierra Verde in Unit 4, which is where this one is, have been staked, have been, you know, those stakes are still out there. They look like this, I guess. That being said, I can't guarantee that to you guys. I can't guarantee that you're going to find 4 you know, markers out there that have not been moved, have not been damaged, have not been touched since the time they were first put there in the 70s. So point being, this looks like a property which may have its property marker still in place, but I cannot guarantee that. Just an FYI. Anyway, as we go through the aforementioned photo gallery here, what you can see is, number one, you've got some really nice views out here of the mountains off in the distance of the Cibola National Forest. Additionally, as we like to point out in these videos, Tierra Verde, particularly this region, is one in which the land is nice and flat, easy to build on. It is not one of these where you're going to have to come in and landscape or excavate or tear down a bunch of trees or some sort of rocky foundation to even get a trailer or a mobile home on the property. This is one in which it will be very easy for you to construct something out there. It should be noted, by the way, when we get these photos taken, I like for there to be clouds in the sky, so there's more dynamic looking sky. It seems like there were no clouds available in all of western New Mexico the day that my photographer went out there. Whatever the case, as you go through the photos here, you can see exactly what the property is like and the aforementioned features as far as mesa views off in the background, forest views off in the background, and exactly how flat and easily built upon this land is. And there, oh look, are the power lines roughly 1,200 feet north of the property. I will let you guys explore the photo gallery on your own time. Oh wait, I won't, because I want to show you this. This is that house that we had shown you in the satellite view before. This is that sort of nice property that's off in the distance out there. And of course, some more telephoto shots of the nearby mountains. All right, now I'll let you explore the thing on your own. I should also point out we have a drone video down here of the entire subdivision. If you look at this, it'll give you an even better sense of the property, the terrain, the surroundings within that region. Blah, blah, blah. All right, so as I started the video talking about no regs, no rules, no HOAs, no dues, I want to go back and I want to address that a little bit more. So first off, Cibola County is one of these counties that doesn't really have formal zoning designations in areas like this. It defers to the covenants and restrictions that go with the property, that go with the subdivision. We have a little write-up on this down here, but the long and the short of it is when this area was first created, there were covenants and restrictions, but they were actually set to sunset about 20 years later. Per a vote of land and homeowners in the region. So there are 7 units within the Tierra Verde subdivision. Only one of those units voted to keep to maintain their covenants and restrictions, and that was Unit 1. So this property, which is in Unit 4 is part of the legal description, does not have those restrictions. So the county's not telling you what to do. There's no covenants, no restrictions out here, and there is no HOA monitoring this region, as I noted earlier with their handout every month asking for money. So as noted, this is an area in which you can do pretty much whatever it is that you want as far as, whatever, yurts, tiny homes, earthship homes, RV living, camping, so on and so forth. One of the things that I think is best for this sort of property, because of its proximity to the Cibola National Forest, of course, is to be used as a sort of hunting cabin area, as a staging area, if you will. Of course, within the property itself, I don't know that you can go hunting out there. You'd have to speak to the gaming office in that region about where exactly you can hunt and where you're permitted to hunt at. But the point is that you are very close to the Cibola National Forest. So if you and the guys want to go out on the weekend, you've got a place where you sort of, shack up for the night, you build a kind of, cabin out here, or even just take the RVs, and then you all go your separate ways throughout the day, come back 12 hours later at sunset, something like that. This is a good region for that sort of thing. So that's what I think these properties are ideal for, etc. Anyway, if you would like to do more research on the Tierra Verde subdivision, we've got a couple links down here I want to make you guys aware of. Number one, Tierra Verde Ranchettes page. They have a website. It's not updated very often, but there's actually a lot of good information on here. When we're researching properties like this makes it a lot easier to write these listing pages and to make these videos when you have a website like that. So I think that'll be very informative for you guys. Additionally, they have an FAQ page, which you could bring up and go through. This is where it talks about survey pins still being in place. What does it say here? Unit 4 used metal tags, and they are still identifiable. Are they identifiable everywhere, or all 4 per property identifiable? Who knows? I mean, these things were put there multiple decades ago. So once again, not a guarantee that we make, but it looks like from the photos, some of them are still in place. Additionally, there's also the Tierra Verde Ranchettes Facebook group. You can reach out to these people if you have specific questions about, the realities of living or owning land in this region. The page doesn't get updated very much, though these people are very helpful. They are very informative. If you do put a question out there, you will get a number of responses, as we discovered when we started asking questions about it, etc. And then, of course, Continental Divide Electric Co-op is the electric company that services this region. If you do want to talk to them about, hey, I'm buying some land, it's roughly about 1,200 feet from a string of power lines you guys have got out there. What would it cost for me to get power extended to my property? You could talk to them about that, figure out the costs involved with that versus solar, and which might work better for you. And as always, we have the link here for the Office of the State Engineer. These are the people who are going to be responsible for water rights for permitting of wells in this region. If that's something that you're going to be seeking out, if you're not going to do rainwater catchment, if you're not going to do a holding tank, if you are going to build out here and you do want a well, you're going to want to talk to this government body about getting permitted for that. And of course, if you click on this link, it will take you to their website where you could do further research and, of course, reach out to them. Blah, blah, blah. With all that said, I also just want to let you guys know we're going to have driving directions down here getting out to the property. It's a little difficult. It's not easy. It's not intuitive. It's not the kind of thing where you just look at Google Maps and you can figure it out. And additionally, Google Maps, the satellites are not very helpful. They give you the worst directions possible. So we made directions here for our buyers, for anyone who is interested in scouting the property in advance. And oh, by the way, if you're interested in buying the property, it's easy to do. Come up here, click the Buy Now button. It'll take you to the secure checkout right here. We're going to ask you for a couple pieces of information, a legal name for the deed, how many people do you want on the deed, how are their names spelled, etc., and tax address. Where's Cibola County going to send their annual tax statement? Agree to the terms of service down here, click the Next button, and on the next page you can enter credit or debit card information. $5,900 plus a $150 doc prep fee, $6,050 total, and we deed the property into your name. For the record, guys, if you do not have a credit card that can accommodate the $6,000 plus, and you need to separate this over multiple cards over multiple days, that's fine with us. Just give our offices a call, 702-919-7170, and we will gladly accommodate you on that. Of course, you can also shoot us an email, support@hemingwayland.com. With all that said, hope this was informative. I hope you guys like this property as much as some of our previous buyers have liked these properties out here. As noted, the lack of restrictions is something that everybody who comes to our website is always looking for. So this is an excellent region for that. With all that said, thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next video.